Hi guys, welcome to another edition of The Watch Collector. My name's Ollie. Today we're going to look at a brand that I first got to see at Watches and Wonders just a couple of months or so ago. But before we do, of course, the obligatory wristwatch check. And today I'm wearing the Laurent Ferrier Sport Auto in blue opaline dial with grade 5 titanium case and bracelet. So one of the reasons I love doing what I get to do is I get to go and actually meet the guys who are creating all these wonderful, weird and wacky pieces and are really, in some ways, actually putting their professional lives on the line in doing so. And at Watches and Wonders earlier on in 2025, I got to meet a gentleman called Martin Klocker, and he's the founder of a brand called Sherpa. Now, he really is following his dream because he is an incredibly talented individual that has his own job in making sure that he's providing for his family, but he wants to fulfill his what he sees as his legacy, and that's creating timepieces like this. And you've got to give your hats to these guys, because honestly, the ingenuity, the time, the effort it takes to create pieces of this quality and look, whilst also still doing your own job, is just magnificent. So let's give it the time that it deserves. So this is the Sherpa OPS, but specifically this is in collaboration with the Real Time Show. Alan, if you're watching, looking forward to seeing you again, hopefully in Geneva for Geneva Watch Days. Hope you're well. It's 40 millimeters in diameter, 13.5 millimeters in height, and this is on a super cool, super fresh, sandblasted stainless steel case. And I use that word fresh because that's exactly what springs to mind when I see this watch. The finish on the head of the watch is amazing. I love it, and the contrast between that and the gloss black finish with the orange accents, and of course the super luminova that is dotted around the dial for the indices and the hands. It just says not only summer watch but fun, and really is Sherpa's own take on dive watches, which of course this is. Now, you'll see that it's got not one but two crowns, and you've got a slight crown guard at 3 o'clock in order to give that protection. So the idea behind this piece is not only to create a dive watch, which is limited to 200 meters, which this is, but it's also to give that real sort of 60s aesthetic. So what it does is it uses the look and the proprietary effect of those Enicar watches from the 60s. That effectively what it does is it creates its own pressure within the case. So the deeper you go, the tighter the tolerances within it become, creating that 200-meter water resistance. You have a Celita movement with 38 hours power reserve, which has then been modified, and it's called the Mantra-Matic. And we'll get to the reason why it's called Mantra-Matic later on. But on top of that, you then have the Monoflex proprietary system, which again goes to what I just described as the ability of the watch without the crowns being screwed down, increasing that pressure and increasing the water resistance as a result, enabling you to dive that deep. So literally all you need to do is pull out one of the crowns in order to be able to use the watch. So first of all, we'll start with this one. At the bottom here, we have one crown, which with one pull out, there's one. We can set the time. Oh no, I've pulled it out slightly too far. And if we push it back in one more, we can set the date. Super easy, super quick. Put it back in, watch is now waterproof. This crown, at what is I suppose 2 o'clock, we pull out once, and what that does is, instead of having a rotating bezel, and this is bidirectional, not unidirectional, as you would on most pieces as part of the head of the watch on the actual case, This piece is bidirectional, but within the dial itself. So then you can monitor how long you've been diving for. Really a superb execution. As I said, really fresh way of thinking about how divers' watches can be interpreted. And on top of that, it's extremely easy to use. The crowns are deeply knurled, so even if you have gloves on, you should still be able to use these crowns with relative ease. So as I mentioned, it's 40 millimeters in diameter, 13.5 millimeters in height. Let's throw it on the wrist and see how it wears. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a good idea that even with the two crown presentation, which is frankly slightly odd initially when you think about it, it gives it not only presence, it gives it a real its own character on the wrist, and as I said, it's so clean and fresh and young and frankly bang up to date that I think they've just done a really great job in collaborating and combining multiple colours. You've got grey, you've got black, you've got luminova, you've got white, pristine white, it's bright white, with neon orange, and of course with this vulcanized rubber strap. I think it looks great on the wrist, I really do. Super sporty. If you're not using this for diving, great with the jeans and a t-shirt for summer, really great piece. But coming back to the Mantramatic, as I mentioned earlier. So of course there is no sapphire crystal caseback, but two of the wheels in each of these watches have been engraved with Tibetan mantra. And the whole idea really is to create that essence of being. And because they're continuously spinning, when of course the watch is wound, it's as if those mantras are being said and creating that kind of a set of essence, that philosophical piece of how you should be living your life and treating other people. As watch people, we tend to like those secret codes, those, oh well, I know what's in the watch, you may not. And it's just really nicely done. And it harks back to, as I mentioned, my meeting with Martin, the passion that I felt from him as someone who was creating these pieces as a result of his own experiences, really trying to see, well, how can I make a difference to dive watches both inside and out. Honestly, you guys have done an amazing job, and this collaboration with the real-time show, I think you've nailed it. So guys, that's the Sherpa OPS collab with the real-time show. Would love to know what you think. I think, as I said, super cool, very fresh design, really nice, neat take on how a dive watch should work. Would love to know what you think, but for now, that's enough from me. We'll see you next time.